Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first video that you are watching, my name is Saray and I love to share content around planning, budgeting, organization, and goal setting to help you achieve the life that you want. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a mid-month check-in for the month of October. So for my budget book, I actually use an Erin Condren monthly planner that I've converted with the use of stickers and other tools into my budgeting system. And I have found this to be most helpful because I could really customize it into the planner budget that I need it to be. So for this check-in, we're going to do a few things. We are going to be checking in to see how I'm doing towards the goals that I set for this month. Important dates that may have already occurred and check some of those things off, and then to start to fill in some of the actual numbers and categorize some of the transactions that have already occurred for the month so that it makes it easier for me to calibrate the budget at the end of this month, which it's been a few budgets since I've actually calibrated, so I'm curious to see how things are going and what adjustments I need to make. We'll first start with the monthly view. This is where I have a general at a glance look at what bills are coming due for the month. And as you can see, I have already been checking things off that have occurred and some things that I need to check off, like for example, the second Apple subscription to come out, and then also my hair subscription that needs to be checked off. And then I'm still waiting on the electric and home gas. So our bills are pretty bill heavy at the beginning of the month. And this is why I like this sort of view, because you can see where most of your bills happen. For no spends, I have been terrible at tracking my no spend for this month. So I don't know whether I'll resume. For what's left of the month, we still have half of the month left, of course, but I'm not sure yet. Honestly, one of my goals this month was to check in with my budget daily. I did not check in with my budget daily. However, I am up to date with all of the transaction tracking and everything. So I may go a couple of days without checking on it, even though I'm working on getting back to ensuring that I'm able to check it daily to stay on track. But if I don't check it daily, I'll make sure to go back to the days that I didn't log to make sure that I am on track. So we're okay somewhat there, but now for the second half of this month, I'm really focused on checking in with my budget daily. So we'll complete that at the end of the month. For my SNS account organization, so this is sort of like our business with my husband and I have not gotten around to doing this month, and honestly I don't think this is a realistic goal for me this month, so I'm probably not gonna make it, but we'll see. But I can always carry it to the next month. And then the other thing that I'm excited that I did get out this month is the SB community launch. And by SB community launch, I'm referring to the Saray Bailey Planner Masterclass on Patreon. In case you missed it, I'll go ahead and link the video here. But I'm working on creating a more intimate community for us to work on our goals, our budgeting, our planning, and all of our aspirations that we have in a more, more personalized, more intimate community and setting. So really excited about that. So that launched this month, and actually our first session will be on October 25th. So I definitely encourage you to check it out if that's something that you're interested in. I've been craving that sort of community and just more closeness that you are not able to get in the traditional social media setting, whether it's YouTube or Instagram. So I'm excited to share more of that with you guys. So definitely check it out. I think it's going to be really nice and a productive time. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at important dates. My taxes have already happened, so we paid those, and that was a pretty big one for us this month. Totally broke now, so we have to kind of reset. My birthday and my niece's birthday also occurred. That was a great time. We went to dinner and we spend the day over at Salem, Massachusetts. That's where all the spooky fun happens every year. So that was a lot of fun. Our anniversary was also at the beginning of the month. And we didn't really do much for that, and I'm kind of glad we didn't, because we ended up spending quite a bit for my birthday planned. So it was kind of like a really relaxing anniversary. And my uncle's birthday also at the beginning of the month, my nephew's birthday as well. And the next thing we have is Halloween. I didn't include my sister's baby shower in this list, but that's something that we have coming up, and that was another expense because we had to buy the gift. All right, so for projects, SB Community, that it's underway. I'm really excited to check that one off. My Spice Cabinet organization, I started working on this, and I started kind of working with what I had without spending any money. But I will eventually have to buy some supplies to get it more organized, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad. We'll see if I can get to that this month or not. This is part of like the SNS account organization. I have not done that yet. I haven't opened up the separate bank accounts. I did sign my severance documents for my work, and then I need to get around to organizing my manicure station. So a lot of organization is going to be happening in the next couple of months from what I can tell. So that's how we are doing so far with these goals. So here I have the list of all of the different categories that I use for my budgeting and my color coding system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my check register where I track all of the transactions that come out of my checking account, and I'm going to highlight everything in the appropriate color. And then I'm going to go through the other transactions that I track here in this budget book, which is anything that happens through one of my credit cards. So I kind of keep track of that here. Once I pay it off from the credit card, I'll check it off. So for example, my car insurance is automatically scheduled to be deducted every 6 months when it's due directly from my credit card. And I do that just to make sure that I don't miss it. And because it's such an irregular bill, it's once every 6 months, there is a likelihood that I might forget unless I have it automatically. So that one came out of my credit card. So what I have to do is I have to now pay it back to the credit card. So once I pay it back, I'll go ahead and put in a little check mark. But it's still a transaction category that I need to categorize to ensure that I'm accounting for that. And then the other thing I will do is go through my cash envelopes and figure out how much I have left, if anything, which really there's nothing left for this month so far in my cash envelopes, but I only took enough for the first half of the month. So I will go ahead and figure out if I need to take more out and all of that. So there's really 3 places where I'm going to be calibrating my budget so far for the month. So figure out my cash envelopes, my check register, and then any credit card transactions that have occurred. So I took out my Pilot Friction highlighter collection. I recently shared my organization of all of my friction items that I use constantly. So these are the highlighters that I use the most. As you can see, I have amassed quite a bit of a collection, but I'm super excited about this organization because I can just grab, and it's so pretty to look at. I often get questions on my storage system for my pen and my writing tools, and this is essentially the makeup organizer that I found at Home Goods or HomeSense, one of those. And they have so many options for makeup organizers, and makeup organizers make the best stationary storage systems. And of course, I already made a mistake. I did not mean to highlight this one because this is a sinking fund transaction. So I don't need to highlight it. It is a bill, but it's not like a bill that comes out of my monthly budget necessarily, because it is something that I have already saved for. So that's one of the reasons why I love the Pilot Frictions, because you can just erase and redo. So I've gone ahead and I've color coded each of the transactions that needed to be color coded. If it's like a bill, for example, I don't color code that at all because it's just a bill, so I don't need to color code that. But and also if it's something that doesn't happen every single month, so for example, if it's a transaction that has to do with like gifting, for instance, I'm not buying gifts every single month, so I won't color code that. So I really try to just keep the color coding to things that happen on a regular basis, so every month, like, you know, transportation, food, personal care, all those things. So now that everything is color coded, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fill out some of the actual numbers just so that I know where I'm at in terms of the bills, and then I'll go ahead and tally up the totals for each of the expenses categories that are not bills but are just, you know, typical monthly expenses. I'm not going to include the actual income just yet. I will tally all of that up at the end of the month, but I will put in the actual for each of the bills. So for emergency fund this month, I'm going to leave it blank because I haven't added anything to that. Car insurance, we did pay that and it was around $640. I'm just going to go ahead and round it up. For taxes, I did do that. My husband covered the majority of them because he had to do with some of our businesses. So, but I did transfer over $2,500 for taxes. This is for home insurance, nothing. Prime, nothing, because that is for December. So these are all the sinking funds. And car registration, yes, it's $320 for that one. And then, so I'm going to put 0 because I'm not planning on adding anything this month for these. I will do that next month. And these are the actual expenses that we had for those sinking funds. What I will do next month, and I don't want it to get confusing for you, but what I will do next month is, instead of putting the actual that I spent, I'm just going to put in the actual that I'm adding to the cash envelope. The reason why I'm doing it this way this month is because I didn't add anything to the cash envelope, because I'm going to be doing a budget reset for November, which I mentioned in my last video. So that's where we are. For general savings, I'm going to leave it 0 for now because I haven't added anything to that, although I'm not planning on that, but we'll see. For mortgage, this actual, yes, that's the same amount. The electric bill has not been deducted yet. The gas has not been deducted yet. And water, there's not going to be any water for this month because that will be due in November. And I'm going to tally up subscriptions because I'm pretty much done with subscriptions this month. And for personal subscriptions, I just have 2, but I just need to make sure. Oh, I need to add 1 more. So I have 3. So that would be $37. Life insurance, yes, that was already deducted, as well as my gym membership. All right, so for credit cards, I did pay $200 to one, but I'm actually gonna leave it blank because I still need to pay another one. So I will change that later. For student loans, those are unfortunately back. For car payments and then medical bills, I was planning on $500, but I actually ended up paying all of them off that I had so far, and I think I had about $1,500 worth of medical bills. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 15 plus 2,500. Yes. So I paid $1,525 in medical bills. So that's that. Okay. So I'm pretty caught up with, oh, I will add the shop expenses actually. And sinking funds, other, I also did not add any to these. I won't add that until next month. So I'm just going to put 0 for these. But I did spend money on gifts, so I will add the total on actual spent there. For shop expenses, let's see. This one was definitely not expected, but I did invest some money into some things that I needed for the shop, so I ended up spending a lot more than I thought. So okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tally up everything for all of my variable expenses so that I know how much I've spent so far. But I'm going to keep that in like a separate sticky note, and then I'll put the final actual total at the end of the month once I have the final number. All right, so I've tallied everything up from all of my checkbook expenses and also from the credit card transaction expenses. So now I'm going to add what I've spent for my cash envelope, which is pretty much everything. So I'm going to add, so for food, I've spent $250 from the cash envelopes. Then I've spent for gas and transportation, this was $40. For personal care, I spent $100. Personal miscellaneous, it was $30. Entertainment, $100. And I'm definitely off the deep end this month, you guys. So, and then that's just the bank envelope. So let's go ahead and add all of these up. So home purchases is the same. 55 plus 3 plus 40. That puts us as 98. 98 so far in transportation. Oh, 250 plus 96. This one puts us at 346 in food so far. And our goal is 500, so I need to be mindful of that. So this is 30 plus 89. It's 119. This one's 200. $164. And then XP expenses already tallied up. Okay, so let's see. So definitely not my best budget month so far, especially since I did not have money budgeted for certain categories. So for example, home purchases, I didn't have anything budgeted for. Transportation, I had $80, so I'm over by 18. Food, only had a little bit left, so 340. 346 minus 500, so 150 left for the rest of the month. Then for personal miscellaneous, I only had 60, so I definitely went over there. Personal care, I went, oh, actually, personal care, no, right on target. Yes, I'm calling that one a win. So I can't spend any more money on personal care. And then for entertainment, I did go over by $64. So we are okay with food so far, but I have to really buckle down and really practice no spend for the rest of the month. Okay, you guys, so that is where we are today with our budget. I'm looking forward to doing a budget closeout at the end of this month and starting fresh in November. And at that time, I will be looking to kind of get back to my sinking fund categories and add all of those categories there. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another video today. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.